Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help thinking that there was a little more life somewhere else. And after all, it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. Yeah, and if she had to die, try as she had one little promise she was gonna keep. Oh yeah, alright. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. She was an American girl. Hey there, friends. How's it going? David Potts with Song Notes here, and let's look at American Girl by Tom Petty, but I'm going to show you this fingerstyle version. Check this out. So if we look at the verse of this song, it only uses these 4 chords, right? A D, an E major, a G major, and an A. And if you were to play this in the manner of Tom Petty, you would kind of, get a strum going on like this, right? And start singing. She was an American girl, raised on promises. Now, I have a separate lesson teaching the entire song in that manner. Check that out if you want it. There's a song sheet available as well, right? You can follow along. But in this lesson, we're going to take those same chords and create a basic fingerstyle pattern. Here's what I mean by that. So I started off basically looking at each chord, and first you want to identify the bass note of each chord. So basically, whenever you're strumming, what is the thickest note you're playing? So for the D, it's going to be this open 4th string. Our right thumb is going to be there. Then we're going to do our right index and middle on the 2nd and 3rd string. We're going to keep that there for all 4 chords, in this verse part at least. So that's going to be a D, right? For the E, 6th string bass note, but keep these 2 fingers on the 2nd and 3rd string. Then for the G, 6th string bass note. Again, these 2 fingers play the same string. And the A has a 5th string bass note. So what you see here is a basic pattern where I'm doing the bass note and then these 2 strings together. And I'm going to repeat that, right? Sort of like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, minimal movement with my right hand here, right? And you could sing with just those chords. She was an American girl, raised on promises. Now, what I wanted to do is sort of explore different ways to play a few of those chords to make things a little bit easier and also to capture the swell of Tom Petty's version. So what I did is I kept the D the same, but for the E, instead of doing a 6th string bass note, we're going to do the 4th string 2nd fret. Okay? Now this is a note that's in the E major chord anyway. We're just ignoring the 5th and 6th string. So what this does is it creates this sort of swell. Well, listen how the bass note from the D goes up from this to this. And then for the G, we're going to do something different as well. Instead of doing a G open position chord, we're going to take this sort of bar chord shape. Now don't worry, you don't need to do this shape, but we're going to take the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string notes, which are 5, 4, 3. Okay, on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. That's going to be our G. And then the great thing is this same shape, you just slide it up to 7, 6, 5, and that's going to be your A. And another cool thing about this arrangement right here is that it keeps your thumb on the 4th string for all 4 chords. And like I said, these 2 fingers are going to stay on the 2nd and 3rd string for all 4 chords. So watch how much more refined this sounds, right? And just easy to play. Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. Then back to the D. She couldn't help but thinking that there was a little more life somewhere else. Okay, that's all you need for the verse. It uses those 4 chords and that's it. So let's take the same approach and move on to the pre-chorus of this song. So we need a couple new chords here. An A7 is what's in my song sheet here. That's played like this. We're going to use that later in the song, but for right now, I'm going to stay on that 7-6-5 version of the A. And after all, it was let's go to that D, great big world. Back to a G. Now here, what I like to do is capture that sort of bass walk-up you hear in Tom Petty's version. Right? On the lowest string, open to 2nd to 3rd. And I like to do a open 6th string, hammer on the 2nd fret, and then put my ring finger down on the 3rd fret. So I really want to capture that little characteristic of Tom Petty's version because it sounds really cool. But we're going to keep these two fingers on the second and third string. With lots of places to run to, hey. So for an E minor, we're just going to do a 6-string bass note and then second and third string. Everything is open for the E minor, which is nice. Open meaning we're not fretting anything. I do keep my fingers in the E minor position just to keep it sort of simple there, because it's in case I do happen to catch one of those strings, it's going to sound good. Now, when I go from that G to the E minor, I like to walk down, do the same thing, right? Capture that sort of 6th string from third to second to open. And then we're going to go to A, and we're going to stay on A, and it's going to change to A7 after 2 measures. Yeah, and she had to die, try, and she had one little promise she was gonna keep. Now, for this next part, the chorus, this is G, oh yeah, to A. Alright, take it easy, baby, that's D, and then to a B minor. I'm gonna show you how to simplify this. Make it last all night, make it last all night. To a G, to an A, and she was an American girl, okay? Now, we're gonna use a new voicing of G and A for this. Check this out. We're gonna do our index finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then we're going to use our ring and middle on the 3rd and 2nd strings. This might be one that requires you getting used to it a little bit when you're first learning it, but the cool thing is, no barring required, no crazy stretching required, and then you can move this same shape up 2 frets for the A, okay? Oh yeah, alright. And we're going to use a different version of the D as well. For the D, we're going to basically take the inspiration of this 5-7-7-7 D, but we're going to do a few things. One, instead of playing this 5th fret bass note on the 5th string, we're going to do an open 4th string. It's the same tone. Listen, this is normally what we would use in this chord, but we're going to use the open 4th string. It's the same pitch as this note, okay? And then for the other 2 notes, we're going to just do our ring and pinky on the 7th fret of the 3rd and 2nd string. So it's open 7-7. And you want to practice this sort of going from the G to the A, and then you just keep your ring finger on that string, move it up 1 fret, and put your pinky down. Watch that again. Watch how sort of efficient the finger movement is when you play it this way. Ring finger stays on the 3rd string. Okay, that's going to be your D. Now for the B minor, the great thing is we can just put our middle finger here, which is just hanging out on the 7th fret of the low E string, and do these same notes that are already on the D. Okay? So that part, oh yeah, alright, take it easy, baby, make it last all night. Then you go back to the G, she was an American. And we go back to American Girl, we're going to do the D down here. Because we want it to be a bit more low. This one would be a bit too bright, right? The Tom Petty version is... What he's playing is just the note D, like 3 different times. Right here, right here, and right here. And I find that if you do this version... I'm not going to strum it though, I'm going to do the fingerstyle. This is 2 different Ds, this D and this D, and then we're adding in this 5th right here on the A. So I think that's the way to do it. Now there's a few cool ways you can add a bit of nuance to help the dynamics, right? Because you don't want it to be the same volume and same intensity all the time. A couple tricks. One is when you're doing any chord, but let's look at the D in the intro, for example, or the first chord in the song. Instead of doing the 2nd and 3rd string together, what you could do is just do... So what I'm doing there is I'm doing the bass note, 3rd string, bass note, 2nd string. It's a bit more of a chill kind of not running at full cylinder sort of arrangement little for that chord there. But you could use that for all the chords. So check it out. I'll do all the intro, all the verse chords using that manner. And then what this lets us do is when we get to the pre-chorus, we can get back to the... doing both fingers at the same time on the 2nd and 3rd string. So here's what that would sound like. The verse. Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help but thinking that there was a little more to life somewhere else. And after all it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. Hey. So one thing you can do here in the pre-chorus is when you're doing these second and third string notes, you can actually sneak in the first and second string in place of the second and third string. So for example, instead of doing this, you could do this. Right? It sort of starts to make the song and the guitar playing feel like it's getting too big for its container, which is kind of what the vibe of this song has. It's a bit of it's about energy and kind of escalation and swelling, and it breaks through to that ending, you know. At least what we have in Tom Petty's version. But you can capture that in a fingerstyle arrangement by using these other strings. So let me play for you the pre-chorus, and I'll do it as I have it tabbed out in my song sheet here. So, after all it was a great big world with lots of places to run to, yeah. And if she had to die, try she had one little promise she was gonna keep. Now here for the chorus, I like to start it off really maybe light. Oh yeah. You know, crescendo, make the sort of volume a bit louder. All right, then you could sort of dial it back down here. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night, make it last all night. Then maybe build it up. She was an American girl. Whoops, I did the wrong D, but it's all good. Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help thinking that there was a little more life somewhere else. And after all it was a great big world with lots of places to run to, yeah. Yeah, and if she had to die, try she had one little promise she was gonna keep. Oh yeah, alright. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. She was an American girl. Well, it was kinda cold that night. She stand alone on the balcony. Yeah, she could hear the cars roll by out on 441 like waves crashing on the beach. And for one desperate moment there, he crept back in her memory. And God, it's so painful, something that's so close is still so far out of reach. Oh yeah, alright. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. She was an American girl. Now, hey, I got another lesson on this song. If you want to learn to strum it like Tom Petty, and then even do that cool like interlude section, that's over on my other video. Check that out, because I talk about that. I talk about how to strum it. I talk about this sort of D chord I talked about. You know, it's a cool thing you can play even solo acoustic, but again, it does require a bit more of a commitment with your energy and your strumming, and maybe that's what you're going for. But again, sometimes I just want a chill thing. I can just finger pick around the house or outside in the back patio chilling out, and this is the sort of arrangement that I put together, right? So tons of fun to be had with this one. I hope you all dig this and enjoy it. Check out the song sheet. The song sheet I have, it shows you, let me show you this real quick. Page 1. Lyrics for everything, all the chords. No matter which version you use, it's going to be there, right? You just follow along for each section of the song. Page 2 is going to give you the chord shapes, the chord progression, and it's also going to give you sort of those like little tabs for the pre-chorus. You know, after all, it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. Hey. And the interlude riff as well. And then on page 3, the fingerstyle stuff. Everything I showed you in this lesson, it's all written out here, so you can follow along using this tab. So thanks to all of you who are supporting me, especially if you watched this far. Check out my other lessons. I think you'll like them. And please consider supporting me over on Patreon through the Song Notes membership if you're not already doing it. It's a best way to support me in these lessons. It also gives you access to my instructional PDFs. I have a whole library of them teaching you all kinds of skills, techniques, and practical guitar theory, that kind of stuff. And then you also get a discount if you do buy my song sheets, right? I have over, I think 145 at this point listed for sale. You get a 50% discount. So it's a fantastic way to support me and also save some money if you're following along with some of my song sheets.
Hey everyone, what's up? I wanted to add this real quick. As part of putting this video together, I ended up making this PDF. It's available over on my Patreon page as a bonus to members. It sort of shows my approach in creating this fingerstyle arrangement. It doesn't give you the full tabs. The full tabs are over in my licensed song sheet, right? The thing I just showed you, it's 3 pages. Page 3 has all the fingerstyle stuff, right? So if you get that, whether you want to strum it or fingerstyle or do whatever, this is what you have to buy over at Music Notes. It's licensed. Patreon members get a 50% discount if they do decide to buy this. But Patreon members also get access to this. This is the kind of thing I make every week or so with my lessons. Showing you, in this case, it's sort of a behind the scenes approach at how I created a fingerstyle version, right? Starting with the open chords, getting into a fingerstyle like string assignment thing, using some custom voicings, working on the picking patterns I was using, and then I talk about the outro that I played there at the end of my playthrough. It has nothing to do with American Girl per se, but because it uses these same chords in the same key, it works great. If you're just noodling and you want an intro or an outro to any song in the key of D, in this case, I used it for American Girl. So this is available on Patreon. It's a free download to all existing members. And again, Patreon members get a 50% discount code if they want to pick up this additional song sheet as well. So thanks very much for the support, y'all. I really appreciate it.
So that's going to be it for this one, y'all. Hope you enjoyed this one, and let me know how it goes. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.